Hi, this is Tim with the Phone Doctors. Today I'm going to show you how to do an iPad 2 digitizer replacement. Come with me. Hi guys, this is Tim with the Phone Doctors. Today I'm going to show you how to do an iPad 2 digitizer. It is actually a pretty hairy repair, so this should be able to help you out and to successfully replace the screen on the iPad 2. As you can see, the device is on right now, and we are going to turn it off. Definitely helps in doing the repair. A couple things to point out on the iPad. You want to make sure that you have either a Wi-Fi or a 3G version, because there's certain flexes that you'll have to watch out for on the iPad. This one right here has the SIM card tray, so that's going to be the 3G version, and so that means there's going to be a flexes up here by the camera that we'll have to watch out for when we peel this glass off. We'll have to watch out for that. Also in this corner right here are going to be your power flexes, which control your vibrator switch, your volume keys, and your power button. That's the most common thing ripped on the iPad 2 screen replayer. So we'll show you how to avoid doing that. And then down here in the bottom right hand corner next to the home button is going to be the Wi-Fi flex, which controls your Wi-Fi. I'll show you how to get the screen off without ripping that as well. First off, what we'll do is we'll start heating the screen up by starting here on the bottom left-hand corner and working my way up. There's no flexes or anything of any kind that's right here that we can rip on this device. Get my heat gun. You can also get a hair dryer, or you can go pick up a heat gun at your local hardware store. When heating this up, you just want to heat it up nice and hot to be able to separate the glass from the frame. But you also don't want to heat it up too much where you're melting the thin plastic piece that surrounds the screen as well. I'm just going to heat this up nice and hot to be able to separate it nice and easy. Usually when the screen is like it is now, it's not that hot, or that it's not that broken. What we'll try to do is try to pick it up all in one piece without breaking any more. It definitely will save you some time. When I pick on this screen, I want to get between there's a black bezel and the glass. I'll get in between there because that black thin plastic piece is going to stay on the device. We will not take that off. We're just going to pick the glass off, and it's really difficult to get this thing started, but once you get started, it's very, very easy. Sometimes I'll probably have to heat it up even harder than it already is. I'm just kind of going back and forth. I don't keep it staying on one area because you don't want to melt anything. But if you keep rotating it, it'll kind of keep that heat from staying in one area. And there I got underneath the screen. Once I get it started, I like to come in with a plastic pick to kind of work it loose, because the plastic pick is going to keep the glass from wanting to break. If I use the metal pick, the glass will want to crack and then separate, and then the more and more you break the glass when you pull it up, just the more work you're going to cause yourself. As you can see here, I get this plastic pick, and I've got it pushed up so far up that I can see it here on the glass, and I know that I'm getting all the adhesive loose, and I work my way up and around. Now right here is your digitizer flex cable, which we can rip in getting this screen off, because we're going to fold the screen this way. We can rip this. It's not a huge deal if you rip it, because it's, obviously we're going to replace the screen, and it's going to come with a new flex cable. So I'm going to rip that right now. As you see, the screen is coming up, and see, this is already broken right here, so I'll take advantage of it already kind of pick up at it. There's no flex cables on this side, so we can be a little bit more living on the edge, living on this side of the device. It's when we get to the other sides is when we'll have to be extremely cautious on when what we're picking up here. You don't want to dig down towards the frame like this, because the LCD is down here, and it's you don't want to break that or melt it. Just kind of working it. There, I cracked it a little bit, which I try to avoid doing that because it's just going to cause us more work to do. This is a little bit different from the iPad 1, because the iPad 1 with the LCD and Digi combo, this one has a lot thinner glass and is a little bit more, I think, more challenging, but I think a very doable repair. As you can see here, picking this glass up here in the corner. Alright, as we pick up this corner here, I'm just going to bring our pick back across, making sure that we're basically all good to go. We're broken up here, so now we can clean across the whole iPad. So now we know that we're broken here, so we're going to peel it over to the side. Since this is free, what we're going to do is we're going to heat up this section on each side of the camera, not over the camera, but on each side, because right up here are your 3G flexes, which control the 3G service on the iPad 2. And so what I'll do is I'll heat up one side and pick it up, and then I'll heat up the other side and then pick it up. There's no adhesive around the camera, so we won't have to worry about heating around the camera. You want to stay as far away from the camera as you possibly can. Don't stay on it too much, because you can melt the camera, which has happened once or twice. So we'll get the picking. Just when you get in here, you just want to make sure you're not picking up any fluxes. Just kind of bend it, and it should come up fairly easy. Depending on how hot you get it will determine whether the flex is going to be stick to the glass or stick to the bottom frame. This time it actually stick to the frame, which is more ideal doing this repair. Since we got that part up, I'll leave the pick in there so the glass can rest on that. We're going to heat up this other side here. I would definitely recommend wearing some safety glasses, because chipping some of this glass up can actually cause get some glass in your eye, and let's be frank, it doesn't feel very good getting glass in your eye. So just be cautious on that. This side, the flex is actually attached, is sticking to the glass, and so you just gotta wiggle it in there to where you know that's separating that. Very, 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 very important. And that's what you don't want to do. Not like it's bad or anything, it just causes you more work if you end up breaking it like that, because then you have to go chip out the glass later on once we get the majority of the glass off. I'll have to go back and start chipping at it. Now that's as far as I go right there. I don't go any farther than that, because the power flex is right here in the corner, and I don't want it to to cut it or dice it or anything like that. So I'm going to leave that alone for the time being. I'm going to turn the iPad around and I'll heat down here where your Wi-Fi flex is going to be, and we'll work our way up. And if you feel like this is a repair that you don't think you can accomplish, you can go to our website, phonedoctors.com/natural repair, and you can actually send in the iPad, and we can do the repair for you. I want to say the charge is $139 plus a $5 shipping back to you, and we can do it very fast turnaround time. And the same idea as the flex is up here. You just want to get this glass peeled up and make sure that it's the flex is not going to be attached to the glass here. Heat it up just right for it to basically not be stuck to the glass. When I start picking at it, it actually stuck to the bottom of the housing, which is very ideal. As you can see, the device did power on. I think the power button got pushed, so that's okay. We can, since the digitizer is already broken, we can't turn it off. You'll have to slide it, which doesn't do it. So I'll just turn the LCD off and work from there. Now we're clean on all three sides, and what I'll do here is I'll just heat this up, this one side, and we're going to fold it over like a book, and this avoids any ripping of the power flex. This is the most effective way that I know how to do it, and doing it this method, I have not ripped the power flex. It's very, very effective versus just jabbing in there and hoping you don't hit it. So what we'll do here is we'll just bring the iPad like this, fold it up, and just kind of folding like that. And there it is. So that's separated. The glass is off. You don't want to throw the glass away because very important here. You have the camera metal holder, which holds the camera basically in place. You want to keep that, and then your home button down here. So we'll pick that off here first. This is the home button module, and some glass came off with that. We'll clean that up here in a second. And then your metal camera frame. And that just 3M, so we'll attach that to the new glass. After that point, this old glass you can just throw away. You won't need anything else off that. As you can see here, and I'll show you the power flexes. Here's the power flex here in the corner that you don't want to rip, which controls the power button. Then you scroll down here and you have your volume key flex right there, and this is also attached to the power flex. You don't want to knock any of the circuits off there. That's why I fold it over versus getting your pick in here and kind of diving in there. Very, very dangerous. You can knock one of those flexes and then you cause yourself probably an extra 45 minutes of work and an extra $30 part. So very very good idea just to kind of do the fold over like I had done. I find it very, very effective. Now since we got the glass off, what we'll do is I'll make sure that we'll take the LCD out of the device. There's 4 screws located in each corner right here, Phillips screwdriver, and so you'll just take those screws out, and then we'll take the LCD out here. The LCD digitizer is obviously a separated part. We also carry the LCDs if you ended up either melting the LCD or cracking it. We do have those on our website as well. And so once I get the 4 screws out, what I'll do is I'll take out just a metal pick, and it's got a metal frame here that the screws are holding it down with, and I'll just kind of just pick up the LCD like that. And it just folds up. Now I pick up on the right side of the iPad. If we put it like this, the home button would be down here, camera would be up top. want to pick up this side because the LCD is plugged in down here by where the digitizer plugs in. We're going to fold it up like this, outways, and we're going to fold it up. As you can see here, the LCD is plugged in down here, and it's got a little tab that folds down. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to pick it up from the side. Picking this up, be extremely careful when you're doing this. Do it from the side and not from here, this angle, because you can knock off circuits and cause the LCD not to display anymore. So what you want to do is come just from the right side and just kind of just pick up that. As you can see here, the lever lifts up. At that point, the LCD is then removable, and we will just kind of just push it out this way. Alright, there we go. And the LCD is now out. And we can put that to the side for the time being until we get back to it. So the LCD is out now. This right here is going to be your digitizer flex, and so we'll take that out. All it is, it has two little prongs or plugins here. We're going to flip up. That flips up, and the flex just kind of pulls out like that. And then we can throw that away since we won't be using that again. So now we got the LCD and the digitizer removed from the device. And so now what we'll do is we'll go and clean up all our trim areas, get all the glass off, because once we get that off, then we can get everything back on there. We don't want any glass on the mid frame at all, because the glass, the replacements, just they're so thin. You don't want to have a better chance of breaking it again if you leave glass underneath there. So just take your finger and kind of rub it around, find out where some more glass is added. Obviously, you'll probably see glass on there, so we'll just kind of chip at it. Sometimes it'll come up easily. If it doesn't come up easily, you can use a heat gun as well. Just be careful if you do it on this side where the battery is at. You don't want to obviously melt the battery. Be extremely careful when you're doing this that you don't want to jab off here. Kind of work your way out this way, so you can avoid hitting anything that's of importance. The iPad 3 is going to be very, very similar to this repair. So if you've got an iPad 3 or thinking about doing an iPad 3 screen replacement, very, very similar. The only difference really is that they have a metal bracket that covers up these power flexes, and that's very, very useful, I think, in doing the iPad 3 digitizers. They're actually a little bit easier. You don't have to worry about breaking something, which is very, very nice. So just kind of feeling around. Make sure to get all the glass up. Speaking of the iPad 3 video, we'll have that coming up here shortly, available on our website. So look for that. We do have the screens, I believe, available on our website, so you can purchase a screen, but the video link will be up here soon. We'll be getting on that. Shake all the glass out. We're going to feel around, make sure there's no glass. I would do it slowly, the whole thumb waving thing, because you could cut yourself and it doesn't feel good. So, alright then. Now what we're going to do, get all our glass shards out of the way here. Don't want to send our screws out of there. Don't recommend doing this on your home floor. I would recommend doing it like outside or on a table. So moving this stuff out of the way. The home button has two different parts to it. It's got the cosmetic piece, which is also obviously the button you're going to push, but it's also got, that's cleaned up, this right here, which is the button actually pushes, and it touches the prongs down here, so it'll touch these little grommets here, and that's what makes the home button work. So those are cleaned up. I'll move those off to the side here real quick. Get all the glass shards out of the way so they don't scratch up our device. Alrighty. Some of the iPads that I've done before, sometimes you'll have like knocks in the corners here, and so to fix that issue, what we've done, or what you can do, is you take your metal pick here and like a household hammer. And so I got one right here, and you might have a friend hold it on this side right here, and just kind of hold it in place, and you kind of just knock out the corner like that, just slightly, so we're it goes back to kind of where it was, and it'll look really nice. Not like factory, but it'll look a lot better. And that way the screen will sit down flush, and that's the most important thing, is to have that screen sit down flush, because you don't want it popping up or anything like that. So now that we have all the glass taken out and our corners are looking good, we will get the new digitizer here, and yours should come with adhesive. If it does not come with adhesive on the screen, then you will be supplied with some separate 3M tape, and then you can put it along the digitizer. So what I'll do is I'll pull this back off. And get my plastic pick here. And what we'll want to do is we want to get our home button and then the camera bracket put on the screen here before we attach it to the iPad. So what I'll do is I'll put this cosmetic home button down first, and then sit this down. Get that in place, and then I'll turn the iPad around here real quick, and I'll push against the button, making sure it pops. If it pops, we know it's in good shape and ready to install. Okay, and we're going to attach the middle grommet here on the camera back in position. So once that's in place, now I'll take our metal pick. Well, first we're gonna plug in our digitizer. This little thing right here on the flex can just come off. That's of no use. So we put this in, plug both sides in, and it's very important that you make sure that both clips are going down, because if you don't, half the screen will work, half the screen will not. So to avoid any frustration, make sure those are both plugged down. And it'll kind of just fit down in this little groove here, like that. So we'll lay the screen down, and so the digitizer is ready to go to be able to be flipped back over. I'll grab the LCD here, and we're going to plug this guy back in. It slides in there, and we just flip it up, flip the bracket down. So it's ready to go. We'll lay it down into place. And we will now put our screws back in. And we're almost done with this. Alright, screws are back in. So now we are ready to take off our 3M adhesive. Just kind of peel it up, and you don't want to get too far deep in. You don't want to scratch the digitizer and make it cut it in to where it doesn't look very good when you put it together. So slightly getting it underneath this top layer of the 3M. Alright, 3M is now off, and now we're ready to clean. We'll make sure our LCD is clean and the digitizer underneath is clean, so you don't get any dirt, dust, lint, stuff like that underneath the glass, because that would be very, very annoying. So clean that off. So we're cleaned up there. So since we have the LCD and digitizer cleaned up, now we can put the digitizer on. Now when we do this, we're going to bend this flex here so the screen's going to sit down just perfectly fine. And so what we'll do is set the screen right there on the edge of the next to the black plastic that surrounds the frame, and we're just going to make sure it's all the way up against it, sitting flush, so we know this side's going to sit down and its sides on its side. So once that's sitting down, then we'll make sure all the corners are good. That's going to sit flush, and that's going to sit flush. So there, we basically have the digitizers ready to go. And so now we can hit our home button, and there it is. It's on. It's ready to go. And that is it. You can go to phonedoctors.com to order the screens. I appreciate your time. My name's Tim, and we'll see you guys next time for the iPad 3 digitizer.